What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, of course. Today we're checking out some r/am I the butthole. I'm not sure why I find it funny every time, but if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. Maybe it's I'm just happy to be here. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending 20 minutes out of your day to be here, spending it with me. I just cannot believe I'm in this position, and it's all down to you guys. So thank you so much. It really does mean the world to me. Let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. I'm tearing up. I'm such a soft one. And our first story comes from Create Painting 54. I, 30 female, have an 11-year-old daughter with my husband, 30 male. Our daughter was diagnosed with anxiety when she was 7 and has struggled with going to school. Both because of the number of kids in her classes and because she struggles a lot socially and doesn't like to be out of the house very often. She has a couple of friends, but I know she would happily stay at home if given the choice. COVID was very rough. She got used to never leaving the house or going to school. The school did not handle classes the best from the time they closed to the time the school year ended in June. No Zoom, worksheets sent by different teachers, no deadlines. It was parents basically talking to multiple teachers and trying to keep track. My daughter really struggled when Zoom classes started in August. She struggled so damn much with having everyone online and invading her space, but I had hoped it would help her adjust better to going back to physical school. Her school opened back up in January and it has not been easy. She cries, pukes, doesn't want to go, is very withdrawn and doesn't engage with her teachers. She has talked about leaving her school forever. Her school counsellor and therapist suggesting getting a babysitter to drop her off, that maybe it would be easier. So we did that, and she had a panic attack on the way to school that first day of trying. This was followed by a solid 3 weeks of panic attacks, and the therapist advised we stop it because it was harming her more. It's still rough, and spring break didn't really help all that much either. My in-laws have been very tough on us. They have said we cater to her too much, that we're too soft and understanding, that back in their day she would have been told to toughen up. My mother-in-law came hard for me after hearing our daughter had expressed dark thoughts to us. She's getting help right now for those, and we're being referred to psych again. Mother-in-law said she was her daughter or was in her care. She would be dropped off at school, being told nobody cares if she's sad or doesn't want to, and she needs to grow up. She said there would definitely be no therapy because it's only encouraging her. I told her I was glad she wasn't her mother or guardian with that attitude because I wouldn't have a daughter anymore and it would be all her fault. She was furious, and the rest of my husband's family, husband not included, think I was very out of line and very hurtful saying that to her. Am I the arsehole? I think the ironic one in this is that, she's saying how she would deal with her daughter and give her all this tough love, and back in my day we didn't do it this way. But then, soon as you tell her a bit of truth, she suddenly goes running back to her family. What's that about? Bloody arsehole. And no, you're absolutely 100,000,000% not the arsehole in this situation. There's no way you can be the arsehole for, telling her the truth. And I wouldn't let that person near my child if they was going to act like that in any way. And if they was going to talk down daughter's issues to her, that would be only damaging further. I can't believe you have people like this in your life. But Danuli says, not the arsehole, do not ever let that woman be alone with your daughter. I can only imagine the vile things she would say and potentially drive your poor kid to do. You and your husband sound like wonderfully loving parents. And Seafaring Matador says, not the arsehole, your mother-in-law is all tough love and just grow up until she gets her feelings hurt. Then she's all, I'm going to run to my family and cry about it. Absolutely. And Shadow of Lilith says, not the arsehole, your in-laws' solutions are exactly why so many people in their generation are so emotionally stunted and mentally unhealthy. You told her the truth. Sure, it was harsh, but it was warranted in my opinion. I'm not saying your husband has to cut contact with his family if he doesn't want to, but you definitely should. And limit all contact they have with your daughter. Psychological illnesses are just as valid as physical ones, and they're only going to damage her mental health further. And Kettlewise says, not the arsehole, and quotes, mother-in-law said she was her daughter or was in her care, she would drop her off at school, being told nobody cares if she's sad and doesn't want to, and she needs to grow up. And then says, oh wow, whelp. I'd make sure there was no contact with mother-in-law and daughter at that point. She's minimized what your daughter is experiencing, ignoring that she is currently under care. What you are doing is under direction of her care team, and mother-in-law has communicated a desire for what I can only describe as abject cruelty. More simply, your mother-in-law has admitted a desire to harm your child. Screw her and screw family who think protecting their feelings about this is more important than you protecting your child. Dark thoughts from 11-year-old. That must be incredibly frightening. Good luck to you and your daughter, OP. And I'll go with it says, not the arsehole, I have anxiety and agoraphobia. Something you may want to look into based on the info about your daughter. And you're completely right, my therapist does amazing work on keeping me alive, even though I have a psychology degree and already understand the basic concepts and coping mechanisms. Making your daughter feel isolated or wrong for how she feels would absolutely cause her to spiral. She needs help, not to be ignored or torn down. Mother-in-law needs to get some empathy. And now I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in this situation? Would you cut the in-laws out, or would you have another solution to this matter? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And our next story is from WubbaLubba96. Am I the arsehole for not wanting to continue to work from home for the benefit of my pregnant partner? So this one is a pretty simple one, and I'm trying to see it from my partner's perspective. I'm 25 male, my partner is 24 female. So essentially, I have suffered from depression and anxiety for years. I finally got myself back on track, and then work changed their systems, which means I am now way busier than I have been for months. This in itself isn't an issue. The problem arises when it comes to decompression. Constant work coupled by my journey home from work consistent of walking down the stairs. Since this began, I felt my mentality slipping, as I feel like I have no time between work and home, and not being able to be social with people from the office makes that 10 times worse. I have no time to stop being in work mode and get into home mode. There is 20 seconds in between, and I can feel the lack of downtime beginning to impact me. This was never an issue in the office, as in between you can speak to people around you and the day goes faster. At home you don't have this luxury. Constant work and no downtime. So I brought this up to my partner, who has always been funny about me going back to the office. The main reason has always been safety. I just want to say I follow COVID restrictions a lot more strictly than she does, but the problem is she does not want me going back to the office, as she says me being at home makes her feel better for when our little girl is born in July. I fully understand where she is coming from, and I can understand the fact of me not being here might scare her, but if COVID never happened, this would have been the case anyway. So to me, I am seeing this as my partner is more concerned about having helping hand than my mental health. And my worry is, even on my breaks, I'm going to have even less time to set my mind at ease. So I'm going to be going from dad to work and vice versa. I expected to lose most of my spare time, but it is only now hitting me how much of an impact this is going to have. Help me see this from the other perspective. Am I being unreasonable here? I just want to feel okay, and she just wants to feel supported. Edit, the ship has sailed now, but I just wanted to add that the baby has no bearing on me wanting to go back. This has been the case for a while. Also, the office is fully COVID restricted in the UK and has never had any cases passed in the office. I realise this isn't necessarily the safest option. After waking up and reading through it, it seems like to be a mixed bag. I need to try other things to change my day before I go back to the office. It is unfair of me to not at least try other things before committing to go back. And that's the point of this group, to see it from another perspective. Thank you to all the mums who have commented and let me know their feelings on the situation. Now I can see this one from both sides. I can absolutely see it from both sides. Especially as I work from home as well, you know, and it's really hard to switch off and step away from the computer sometimes, and it does drain you mentally sometimes where you just can't switch off from it. And stepping away and just going for a walk, which I do pretty much every day, I go for like a little 20-minute walk or so, just as it says in this, to decompress. I think that's a good strategy. And I think if you was to mention that to your other half and, you know, say that it'd be good for my mental health just to, you know, escape for those 20 minutes, go for a walk, get some fresh air, and then come back, and then you're in home mode. And I don't think that would be too big of an ask from your girlfriend. I think she would understand that if you did mention your mental health and stuff and how you're actually feeling. I think if a partner said that to me and I loved them, then absolutely I'll say, yeah, you take that 20 minutes away, decompress. I'd love to home you rather than the work you in front of me, you know. And that's the way I would feel about the situation anyway. But I can also see it from the girlfriend's perspective on this as well, that she wants you home because it'd be really good for you to help with a child and be there straight away rather than having this commute in the middle and things like that. And during the day, when things do get crazy for parents, you know, it'd be really great to have you there. So I'm going to go for one of those very rare, no one's an arsehole here. And we'll start with OK Sympathy 6395 saying, not a huge one, but you're the arsehole. If you can avoid leaving your partner alone with a newborn all day, you should. I hope you are seeing a therapist for your mental health issues, because it is absolutely true that you're going to have way less downtime when the baby comes. And Smitty says you're the arsehole. If you need time to decompress, make some time in your schedule at home to do so. You aren't commuting, so start earlier if possible, get off earlier and take a walk, find a hobby, etc. Because once your baby girl is born, your partner is going to need you more and your daughter will. There are other options to shore up your depression and anxiety than running away under the guise of work. And Lisa says, no one's an arsehole here. I think you need to develop some ways to unwind and make yourself take breaks. How about suggesting a family walk twice a day or going for a drive? And to the moon says, Light, you're the arsehole. Go to therapy if you can and possibly consider meds. Can you go for a walk at lunchtime or at 5 to give you a bit of downtime and separate work from home time? That's what I do. Can you compromise and go into the office like 2 or 3 days a week until July? She's never going to get any time off when the baby comes. You'll both have a big adjustment, so start developing better coping systems now is my advice. And Comfortable Stop says, no one's an arsehole here. To lengthen your commute home, not really, but you'll see where I'm going. When you get down the stairs, you can go out the door for half an hour to walk outside in order to decompress. That may help. And Fixero says, you're the arsehole, get real man. You signed up for a marriage and fatherhood. You don't get to throw a pity party because you only realise just now what the impact might be on your time and freedom. You're not even really the one making the true sacrifice. Your wife is. Her body will change, she will be in pain. This will take an enormous toll on her, and then she will be expected to do the lion's share of the child rearing and domestic chores while she heals. Her career, if she had one, will stall. Her body will not feel like her own. She will not have much intellectual stimulation from other adults. What do you think your wife's physical and mental health is going to be like after she births a child and is left all alone? And you're upset about a suboptimal work routine and social isolation, aka a normal pandemic routine. If you don't decompress your most preferred way, you'll just inevitably spiral out of control. Take responsibility for yourself, get some therapy and buck up. Now, what do you guys think about this one? Do you think he should just buck up and, deal with it? I just don't see it that way. I think as I said, I can see it from both perspectives, and I think working together to find a balanced routine where they both get the social stimulation and freedoms that they need is the best way forward, not just playing down his mental health as well. And I know wife is going to be going through similar things as well, but it's up to them to make this discussion and make it work for both of them, not just say, oh, screw your mental health, you got a child coming, deal with it. I don't think that's the way to do it. Not only is that going to be bad for both of them, but it's going to be bad for the child in the end as well, if their mental health isn't balanced in some way before the baby comes. I don't know. Maybe I'm going too far with that, and I've been wrong plenty of times before. But guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And our next story comes from Prehistoric Princess. Would I be the arsehole for asking my dad not to move away? I'm 27 female, dad is 72 male, and divorced from my mum many years ago. Afterwards, my dad stuck around and would usually visit several times a week. He and my mum stayed close friends. He and my sister have a rockier relationship, but he has always been in the picture for her as well, and he is close with her kids. My mum passed away very unexpectedly in November, and this has hurt us all tremendously, even my dad, who considered her his best friend. In the wake of it, my sister, 41 female, and I agreed on splitting the inheritance in such a way that I'll take up ownership of my mum's home, where I plan to move in with my fiancé, 27 male. My dad has dropped a bombshell on me that he wants to move out of state. He said he doesn't like where we live and only remained here to help raise me and stay close to my sister. But now, in his words, we are both adults, have our own lives, and he doesn't have to worry about us. He said he wants to live somewhere warm to help with his health. He told me that if I insist on him staying local, he will, but he would rather not and feels depressed about living in this state. Which has bad memories for him. My family went through a lot of terrible traumas over the years here, so I understand his point of view. While I understand all of that, I am concerned about him moving far away from everyone while he has serious health problems. He has had heart problems in the past and has neurological disorder that causes him to sometimes fall, which has resulted in numerous concussions. My dad said he would move into a senior area where he'd have access to medical help should he need it. But I'm still worried. He can't really bend over due to back problems, so his last apartment, before I started helping him out with cleaning, was in absolute chaos due to lack of picking up and cleaning. From a maybe selfish standpoint, the idea of losing my mum and then have my dad move away also makes me feel like an orphan. I suspect my fiancé would probably be fine with it because while he doesn't dislike my dad, he had his complaints about him. My dad isn't great about respecting boundaries. He's too oblivious, not aware when he's overstepping. He tends to leave a massive mess wherever he goes and doesn't pick up after himself, etc. I know my dad means well, but they are accurate and fair complaints. So I know my fiancée is nervous about how often my dad might barge in when we move. These are all things that I've been used to my whole life, but I understand why it's off-putting to my fiancée. That brings me to the question of what I should do. I'm really torn over where I should ask him to stay local or if that would be selfish. On the other hand, if he were to move far away, I know that it would probably be beneficial to my relationship, but I'd miss my dad and I'd worry about his health without any relatives or friends close by. So, would I be the arsehole if I asked him to stay? And there's a small paragraph update on this one as well, which we will cover after the comments, and I won't forget today. Well, I try not to. What I hate about these ones is when you have to call someone an arsehole who's just showing love towards their dad and they don't want their dad to go, and and I totally get that. I love family and I love family being close by to me. Breaking that chain has got to be so incredibly tough. I've never had to go down the path of, a relative that I'm really close to moving far away where I won't get to see them as much. That's never happened to me as yet. Obviously, I've lost people in the past, through death, but I think it's completely different, especially when you're concerned about their health and well-being at the same time. But I think you have to let your dad go and live his life. He stayed around to care for you and raise you as best as he can. Now I think it's his time, and if this is something he truly wants and is going to make him happy, I think that's what you want too. That's what I would want if a relative did say to me and said, look, this is going to make me really happy just moving away to somewhere that's more peaceful, warm, good for my bones, all that good stuff. And I'd say, absolutely, you do you. If it makes you happy, I'm happy too. So I think you would be the arsehole, even though I hate saying it. But Nick says, I think it would be selfish and you would be the arsehole if you asked him not to move. After so long, he deserves to live where he wants. And if you really feel you must live close to him, you can follow him. I'm sorry, it has to be really hard and I know it's sad, but there's a video chat now and you can help him find a senior community where people to check in on him. And Rainbows and Metal says, your father has stuck around for years and years making sure to be there for you. It's his time to do what he wants. You're almost 30 and shouldn't stop him from doing what he wants in life. You also say he oversteps boundaries, aware or not, and it doesn't sound like you've put your foot down about it. That's telling your wife that you don't really bother to respect and protect their boundaries either. Let him live his life, don't hold him back and following his dreams. He wouldn't do that to you, would he? You would be the arsehole. An individual ad said you would be the arsehole, let him live his remaining years how he wants to live them. He's moving someplace with facilities that could support him as he grows older, which, trust me, will relieve you and your sister of a major concern. If you are concerned, help him move to reassure yourself about his new place. But here is one time where saying you love him, you'll let him go, applies. And one more from Koo who says, I don't want to call you an arsehole because I think your feeling is very well intended, but given your dad's age and health situation, it is time to let him move to somewhere he feels less stressed and where he can get proper senior assistance. And the update says, thank you for all your comments. I decided to tell my dad that he has my blessing to do whatever he wants to do, as long as he stays safe wherever he goes. It's a shock to think of going from seeing my parents constantly to not seeing either one at all, but you guys are right that he deserves to follow his dreams too. Absolutely. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation? It is an incredibly sad one in some ways, but also a good one for the dad, I think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And our final story is from Family Help 2997. Am I the arsehole for not wanting to be around my girlfriend's little sister and causing a rift in the family? I met my girlfriend when we were 11. We're on the same basketball team, so I met her family at the games. Her sister Sammy was 8 back then, and I guess her family used to like teasing that she has a little crush on me and she'd get all shy whenever I hung out with them. They made jokes about me being her little boyfriend. Then we got together when we were 13, so the whole Sammy crushing on me got more obvious. Everyone in her family says it's cute. Sometimes Sammy would come with us to the movies and I'd buy them stuff. Whenever I go with her family, anywhere, Sam always wants to sit next to me or on my lap. Never said anything back then, since she was a little kid and didn't mean anything. Now she's 15 and feel like the crush has got worse, to the point where it's awkward and uncomfortable for me. She doesn't hide that she gets jealous of my girlfriend, or I'm at their place, she's just like glued to me. Gets mad if we want to be alone in my girlfriend's room, wants to go with us wherever we go. Everyone was treated like Sammy being herself, but now it makes me super uncomfortable, her wanting to be all over me sometimes, and I purposely sit somewhere she wouldn't have space to be near me. We just learned recently that my girlfriend is pregnant and we moved into our own place to get ready for our baby. Sammy straight up lost it when we told our families we're pregnant. I'm serious, she locked herself in the bathroom crying for an hour, yelling that she hates everyone. So yeah, with her reaction, I want to be around her even less. I told my girlfriend how I've been feeling uncomfortable with her sister for a long time, and I should have said all this sooner. My girl apologised because she always thought I was okay with some of the shit her sister does, but says I don't have to interact with her if I don't want to. She also talked to her family about getting Sammy to start respecting my boundaries and let it go with the boyfriend jokes already. They don't think Sammy is doing anything wrong since the crush is innocent, so they pretty much don't want to tell her to keep some distance from me when we come over. Her parents started coming at me to stop making a big deal and punishing Sammy for how she feels. I showed my girlfriend the text they sent me and she got pissed. So now she won't go either, so they start getting Sammy to behave right around me, but they won't do that. The whole family is attacking us, especially my girlfriend, and it's making me feel guilty. They're saying I'm terrible for ruining things between my girlfriend and them. They don't get why I'm being this way. My girlfriend is so mad she don't want to talk to them. They're saying it's my fault. Am I the arsehole for starting this whole thing by not wanting to be around Sammy anymore? Now, I can imagine a few people going down the path of, OP maybe should have spoken up sooner, but I think especially in the younger days of their relationship, I think it's really hard to speak out in front of a family, that you're just getting used to and you're just getting to know, and when this sort of thing is happening, you just sort of roll with it at the time. But as it's gone on, the family definitely should have stepped in, because this is like the fact that they're just letting it continue is creepy in itself in some ways to me. And I don't know if it's just me, I might be overstepping here. It sounds like obsessive behavior, that she's freaking out. She's known that you've been boyfriend and girlfriend for a long time and now you're pregnant, and then she freaks out and goes into the bathroom and starts screaming she hates you all. I mean, and the parents just encourage the behavior still and they're not concerned about it. I mean, what the fuck? But Chirplet says, not the arsehole, they let this inappropriate behaviour go on way too long and encouraged it by not doing anything and repeatedly saying you were Sammy's boyfriend. What the fuck? Family and Sammy are very in the wrong here. And RatPack18 says, not the arsehole, bro, good job saying something, your girl doesn't find that weird. They're sisters, right? And Rolling Katamari says, not the arsehole, please go very low contact with her family until the baby is born. This should be a special time for you both and your girlfriend really doesn't need the added pressure during her pregnancy. I hope you two don't live with them. If you do, move out ASAP. Sammy's crush may have started out innocently, but it shouldn't be allowed to go in this very unhealthy phase. Sammy is a teenager bursting with hormones and crazy thoughts. I really hope she doesn't hurt herself over this. And Trick Interesting says, not the arsehole, you guys only have a 3-year age gap. It's really weird. Why are her family members acting like she is some 9 to 10 year old who likes to spend time with her sister's 25-year-old boyfriend? Looks like they haven't stopped babying her, and let's not forget her behaviour is mostly their fault. Their teasing only encouraged her, and if you want it to stop, you need to enforce boundaries. It is worrying how she will treat your child in the future if her obsession doesn't end. And one more from Hearts UK saying, not the arsehole, you're not the issue, the family and Sammy are, though you should have spoken up sooner. The nice thing is you have your own space. If her family keep the abuse, go no contact for a while till they behave and apologise. Just support your girlfriend and good luck with the new little one. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation and what would you do in it? Let me know in the comments below. Now, once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories. And if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it massively helps out our channel. It truly, truly does. And if you want to support the channel further, you absolutely can by clicking that join button down below for YouTube. I'll click in the link in the description for Patreon and join up there. It's super helpful, but never any pressure to do so, of course. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.